Okay, so happy Thanksgiving to all my American friends and colleagues. I hope you have a wonderful day. I am traveling to America quite a bit next year, that's for sure. That's something I'm definitely going to be doing because there's lots of opportunity coming to myself. I can't talk about one of the opportunities coming just yet, not until maybe 2 weeks time. And by then, there's someone coming from California that's going to be visiting their family in Italy, and they're coming over to see us to talk about a project for next year. And I really want to talk about it. I will do very shortly. Now, talking about the law of attraction as well, that's something I really want to talk about in this vlog. Well, not loads, but just, I want to touch on it. And I've got an event that I'm attending in March. I'm going to be doing a talk in front of an audience, a channel talk. I've never done it before. I am a little bit nervous, I'll be honest. It's happening in Manchester. It's called the Awake and Aware Conference. It takes place over 2 days, March the 4th and 5th, so it's a weekend. I'm kind of looking for, look, I don't care if it's a big audience that comes to see us or a small audience. Just to do that kind of thing will be really cool. I've never done it in front of an audience before, so looking forward to that. I will be advertising that event on my videos a bit more now, just to give it some publicity as well. I've actually been to the theatre that it's taking place in, and it's quite a big venue actually. Now, one thing about my YouTube channel is you're going to start seeing more law of attraction videos. Because I'm going to go to Manchester next year to this conference, then I just feel that law of attraction is where I want to take some of the work that I'm doing and focus on that. I think law of attraction is just so incredible and powerful, and most times we're doing it and we don't even know we're calling that into our vortex, into our space. I've started using it a lot more now. I believe in law of attraction. There is a reality here that is malleable, and yet you can create the reality that you want. So one thing I'm using it for is my book as well. Now, I actually wrote 2 books. The second book is not finished. The first book was finished half a year ago. I never did anything with it. I went to go see another channeler this weekend. It went on for hours. We had such a good chat, and it was amazing to speak to someone else that does the same thing, that channels. And she really helped me see the clarity in actually a lot of things, right? Especially putting the first book out there. Not worrying about finishing the second book right now, but getting that first book out there. Even though I may feel that the first book isn't as good as the second book, that's not my call. This first book could help people, because I ain't doing it for the money, but it could actually benefit people. And if it could benefit people, that's, I should be of service and put that book first, and put myself first as well. So my good friend in Cardiff, Wales and England, a guy called Donald, is helping me edit this book. And Donald, thank you so much for what you're doing right now. Alright, I need to get back to mine because I've got an interview to do and I haven't even researched it yet.
Hey now, little speedhead.
Damn, it's cold out here. Okay, I didn't mean to cram so much at the beginning of this video before talking about my near-death experience, but that's just the way it's turned out. Back when I used to live in Holland in 2007 with my then partner, me and her separated. And I don't know, for some reason I didn't cope with it very well. It was the most painful separation I've ever been through in my life. And it was probably meant to be that way. It was probably meant to be really, really raw and painful. And it's quite fitting that I'm kind of telling the story from here right now in Almere. where it all started all those years ago. So to cut a long story short, we separated in, the summertime, and my head was just not right. I just wasn't coping with it very well, and it was around the winter time, Christmas. It was around Christmas when I called my friend in Las Vegas and said to him, can I come stay at yours? And he was like, yeah, sure, come over for Christmas, man. It's cool. Where he was based in Vegas, there was a fraternity house next door to him. I didn't know that. So I'd been for a few parties at this house. And, this is all a bit of a blur right now, but this is a true story as far as I understand it. Just realised, look, my mum and dad might be watching this as well. And if you are, and it upsets you, I'm really, really sorry, okay? This was a long time ago, and maybe I've told you, but then again, maybe I've not. I can't remember exactly everything that went on that night and just which night it was and which party it was around this fraternity house, but it was one of them. And I must have been pretty low at the time, pretty low. So when I went to Vegas, the first thing that my friend did was, showed me around the house and showed me where his guns were in his closet and showed me where I was staying. And I don't know which night it was. I've no recollection of time like that. And I don't know what it was. I don't know why I even thought like this. Because I would never have done this normally. And I would never do it now. This was way back before I even was really into spirituality like I am now, or Christ, it was even years before I'd even started doing my talk show. It was a long time ago. It was before I even went to university. And I got back home, and I just remember going to the closet door, and I thought to myself, right, if I just get that gun, or one of the guns, I can take it into my room, and the pain will stop. I'll be out of pain. And at that point of standing by the door where these guns were, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to leave my mum and dad with me leaving in that way, to do it to my family neither. I just couldn't do it. All I kept thinking was my family. There was just no way that I could leave them with that, with me passing like that. That's all I thought. That's all that kept coming to me. Not straight away, but that it pretty instant. It was quick. And as some people have said to me, if you've never considered suicide, you've never lived. And I don't know how true that is, right? But it kind of fits. So I headed back to my room, and I remember laying down, and as I lay down on the bed, I can't remember how long I was like lay down for, do you know what I mean? But as I lay down on the bed, I felt my breathing become very gentle, and it almost felt like I'd stopped breathing. It almost felt like I'd stopped breathing. And it was the most incredible feeling of just rising above my body. I was staring at the roof, but I was rising up, and I thought to myself, well, I thought to myself to begin with, I must be so high that it's given me this out-of-body experience. But then I realised, oh shit, well, not like that, but I was like, wow, I'm out of my body. I don't even know if it was like, wow, I don't even know if it was that. It was just like, it's like when you're in shock, when something happens, you kind of just accept it. And then it was just the most amazing experience, and I'm not even giving it any justice really, just how incredible it was. I was in this tunnel, and it was like one side of the tunnel was going around that way, and further on, another side of the tunnel was moving that way. It was like I felt like I was in a kaleidoscope where there was pins of light throughout this cylinder that I don't know what it was. This tunnel that I was in, there was piercing light throughout it. I think that's one way of describing it. And then there was like 1,000 voices in this tunnel with me. And this tunnel didn't feel very big at all. It was almost like it was encased around me. But the voices, there was so many voices suddenly surrounding me. And the most unmeasurable feeling of unconditional love that I'd ever felt in my whole life. It was just, whoever they were, wherever I was, it was just love beyond this level of conceptualization. And even though there was all these voices, there was just one message, it felt like. And that was, do you want to go home? Do you want to cross over? And I had time to think about it. I must have done. It felt like I had time to think about it. But it wasn't very long. Because again, all I thought about was my mum and dad. And I couldn't have left them like that. Even dying that way. I didn't want to do that to them. And maybe I didn't want to do it to myself neither, to pass then. Maybe I really did not want to cross over. Even in all the pain I was in, I knew it was the right thing to stay here. And then, as soon as I'd made that decision, I was back in my body, and the voices had gone and the tunnel had gone, and I just called my parents, even though it was stupid o'clock at night. And I don't think my parents ever understood just what had happened in that moment, because I was crying my eyes out to them, and they didn't understand. I think they just thought I was depressed over my ex-partner, but it wasn't. Normally I feel a lot more emotional about it than this, because that feeling of that love that was in that tunnel, it's just incredible. I'm not even too sure why I had that experience. What did it teach me? What was the message of it? Well, it sure made me realize that unconditional love feels awesome, and that there just wasn't just one voice to greet me. It was, well, like I say, it felt like, I used the word 1,000, but it just felt like so many. And they were all saying, they all wanted to know me, they all wanted to speak to me, they all wanted to say hello and be validated, it felt like. I'm glad I never took my life that night. And it's not a sort of thought that would ever go through my head again. I think I had to make that choice of whether I wanted to leave or not at that point. I think I had a choice to do that. You know that we talk, people have come on my show to talk about, there's points in a soul's life where they can choose to cross over. If there's anyone watching this that's having thoughts or have had thoughts about suicide, I would say that top priority is the people that you're going to leave behind. You're going to be okay, but the people you're going to leave behind are not. When you cross over, I think it's just as difficult as being here. I really do not think, except for there being no wars, that it's any easier. So you may as well make it work here, because you chose to come here. As I've said at the beginning of this video, the law of attraction, you can have the life you want. You can have the relationship you want. Yeah, one person doesn't define you, but what did I know? What did I know? And you know, I never got any healing from that relationship. That relationship never ended where two people can come together and debrief. So I'm going to end it here in a bit of shock that I've shared this, really, but I think it was the right thing to do. And that my experience, my personal experience, is that there is something far greater than this that we came from and that we go back to. I'll catch you on another vlog. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to each other. You're amazing, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.
Says you have to go to task in the city where people drown in